Calle Jarnkrok will miss at least the next 2 weeks with a groin injury. How is this going to affect the rest of the lines? And Kyle Dubas may have made the move of the offseason with this combination of letting someone walk and a sneaky little trade. What's up, Leafs fans, and welcome back to Leafs Digest. News broke today that Calle Jarnkrok will miss the next 2 weeks with a groin injury. This news came from David Alter, so credit to David Alter for reporting on that. But it did come out that Calle Jarnkrok will miss at least the next 2 weeks with a groin injury. He sustained that in the game against San Jose, had to leave and was not able to return. So how is this going to affect the rest of the lineup? Well, it's kind of unfortunate because it seemed like that second line was clicking a little bit. Although Jarnkrok wasn't doing incredible things there, making Mitch and JT get their points. Of course not. He was starting to fit in and potentially being able to be a guy who could be like that little bridge gap, a little feisty guy who could go in the corners, win some battles, plays the game the right way, does the little things, as people love to say in the hockey world. Calle Jarnkrok kind of does the little things, and he was the guy on that second line to do so. Over time, if he continued to build up some chemistry, he might have been in a good position to be able to help them even take another step up from what they're already doing on this amazing run that Mitch Marner has of 18 consecutive games with a point. But what this is going to mean is that we're going to see a whole lot more of Nick Robertson and Denis Malgin. My first thought would be that they're likely going to try to put Nick Robertson there and see what he can do on that second line. Sheldon Keefe doesn't really have as much trust for him. It's been something that's noted with him saying the reason he's not playing is not because of his age. The reason that he was not playing had to do with his play. That's why Sheldon Keefe wouldn't put him in the lineup and had him sitting in the press box. Now, there was a lot of talk about where is the best place for this guy? Well, it's obviously going to be playing games. You're seeing a similar situation. I mean, albeit a little bit different based on the fact that he was just drafted, but Shane Wright in Seattle. It's not going to do the player the best for him to be not playing games. So you got to find a place to get him. But Shane Wright in his situation, he can't go to the AHL full-time based on the rules and the partnership they have in place at the CHL. So he would have to go back to the CHL and play above his weight class there. They put him on a conditioning stint in the AHL. He's done very well in his time there, but Seattle's in a position where they don't feel like he's going to make an impact on their team. They don't feel like he's ready, so they're caught between a rock and a hard place. It kind of feels like Toronto is in a similar situation with Robertson in terms of the only spots that he can go are the NHL or the AHL. If he goes to the AHL, they've seen him do some really good things there, but I think they feel like he might be a little bit above that. The problem is that he's just not quite there at the NHL level to fit into this team as it is right now. And you can say all you want about, why can't he get in here? He's a really good player. He can score goals. This team is 15-5-5. They're fourth in the NHL. They're not really looking for a guy who can score goals. William Nylander has been very impressive, putting up a significant number of points throughout the month of November. Austin Matthews is starting to look like himself again. And between Mitch Marner and John Tavares, Marner ties a franchise record for points in consecutive games, and JT is continuing to be above a point per game player. So this team isn't really looking for scoring. What they're looking for is guys who can fill the other roles, who can be the guys to chip in every now and then and be grinders and grip players and do all the other little things, blocking shots, very responsible defensively. They don't think Nick Robertson can do that, and then when he was in the lineup, he wasn't really providing that extra edge that you'd be looking for out of a guy who's a goal scorer or point getter. He wasn't really getting there. He wasn't doing that. But I do think they're going to put him in a position here where he can go onto this second line and give it a shot, see what he can do there. I think there may be an opportunity here for Denis Malgin. I mean, I haven't seen any reports of official lines that they're going to run with in the upcoming games or during this time that Calle Jarnkrok's out. That being said, I think they see something in Denis Malgin, especially considering he did put up a ton of points over in the Swiss League. He had a good start to the season on the preseason where he came in and he looked very good alongside William Nylander. He looked like he might be a guy who could put up some points. So I think they might try to give him a shot, but no matter what, it does mean we are going to see more of Denis Malgin and Nick Robertson. Now on to the second part of the video that everyone must have came here for, Kyle Dubas' genius offseason move. This move is going to pertain to what happened in goal during this offseason for Kyle Dubas. And more than anything, it may be the moves that he didn't make or the signing that he decided not to go with. Jack Campbell signs a $5 million for 5-year contract with the Edmonton Oilers, and it has been nothing short of disappointing for them. Through his first 12 games, he's 7-5. He's got a 4.04 GAA and an 8.75 save percentage. And this Edmonton Oilers team is looking at this guy basically praying that he can find some type of form that he had in Toronto. Well, I will sit here and say this. Toronto's team defense as a whole is significantly better than the Edmonton Oilers. That's problem number one for the Oilers right now. The other part of this is, were they not paying attention to his numbers from January on because he wasn't that incredible of a goaltender? Now, I'm going to be the first person to tell you, I support Jack Campbell. I like the dude a lot. He did some good things here in Toronto. He resurrected his career. He became a starter again. And above all, he seems like an incredible guy. But $5 million for the next 5 years? Not for me. On top of that, Kyle Dubas moves on from Petr Mrazek, and my goodness, 1-5-1, 4.27 GA, 8.78 save percentage, not been going overly well for him this season either. So Kyle Dubas walks away from those two guys, goes out and gets a restricted free agent in Ilya Samsonov, and makes a ridiculous trade with the Ottawa Senators, trading away future considerations for Matt Murray, with 25% of his salary retained by the Ottawa Senators, a third-round pick in 2023, and a seventh-round pick in 2024. Going into the season, a lot of media around the NHL basically sat there and said, what is this Leafs team going to do with these goalies in net? Well, I'll tell you what they were going to do. They were going to come out and start this season and go 15-5-5 and be fourth in the NHL. These goaltenders through the month of November here, just nitpicking the last month. Matt Murray, 927 save percentage, fourth in the NHL. Ilya Samsonov, 924 save percentage, sixth in the NHL. Two goaltenders in the top 10 in the NHL for save percentage. On the season, Matt Murray is 5-1-1. Same save percentage at 2.4 GAA. Ilya Samsonov, 7-2, 2.09 GAA, and a 924 save percentage. Like, these guys have been incredible to start this season, and even with that, they've both spent time on the injured reserve, and we've had to rely on Erik Källgren. Erik Källgren, he's proved to be a pretty good backup goaltender. This guy came in a situation where the team wasn't playing well at the time. He goes 3-2-4, manages to at least get them some points there. He's got a 4.35 GAA and 8.89 save percentage. But even with that, this Leafs team has managed to go 15-5-5. If these guys can stay healthy, they can continue this run. This move by Kyle Dubas may be his greatest move as a Leafs GM, or as the Leafs GM, that he will ever have. This move, as long as it continues on this path, I think is going to be incredible. They saw something in Matt Murray. They said during his time in Ottawa, he was injured. He was sick. He dealt with the passing of his father. Things didn't exactly bounce his way. Maybe there's a way that we can help him resurrect that here in Toronto. Well, so far, for the time being, they've been able to do that. Ilya Samsonov, they said this is a young guy. He was a high draft pick for the Washington Capitals. Things didn't exactly work out for him in Washington, but we see something in this young goaltender who was very highly touted. And guess what? When they went to offer him a contract, they offered him less term than other teams did around the league. And he said, I want to go there. I want to play in Toronto, and I want to give this a shot. He's come here, and it's worked out pretty well. We're in a situation where we've got a pretty good goaltending tandem, a very good third goaltender, a guy who can come in here and back up this team. I'm pretty happy with these moves. I think this Leafs team, as of right now, is in a very good position for it. Now, the only thing that I am nervous about with this, and I don't want to put a damper on everything, but just please remember, last season, the Maple Leafs were incredible in November. As a result of that, their goaltenders were incredible in November. The year before, incredible in November. Like, they've had streaks where they've been incredible in November, and their goaltenders have been incredible in November. sometimes it started to fall off a little bit, whether it be from the team or the goalies or a combination of both. Hopefully that situation doesn't happen here, but we will see how this plays out over the remainder of the season. So, as far as these things with the Leafs go right now, Calle Jarnkrok will miss at least the next 2 weeks with a groin injury. We're going to see a whole lot more of Nick Robertson and Denis Malgin and Kyle Dubas' offseason moves, which were laughed at amongst fans around the league, media around the league. They have turned out to be very, very good moves right now. And I think these are one of those 4D chess, big brain type moments for Kyle Dubas. We'll see how this plays out for the remainder of the season. But Leafs fans, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to hit subscribe on this channel, like this video, and then you can hit that bell, turn on notifications so you get notified every single time that we go live for post-game reactions. You can join in the chat, you can call into the stream, all that kind of stuff. Make sure to subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so you know exactly when we go live and you don't miss out on a minute as well. You'll get notified when videos like this come out. Leafs fans, thank you guys so much for tuning in here. Greatly appreciate all the support throughout the first 2 years that we've been doing this show. Look forward to seeing everyone in the next video. Keep believing.